Hello and welcome back to Compass and Layouts. Today we're going to be doing a truncated cone with a slanted top, so like so. We'll be working with a 5-inch diameter bottom, 5 inches. We're going to give it a 3-inch diameter top, and by the time we get done we'll be producing this pattern to make this. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so I already went ahead and drew the cone, the profile that I want. So this is 5 inches on the bottom, and we're going to give it a 3-inch diameter. So whatever cone that you want to make as far as the degree, go ahead and draw that out. But this is what I drew just so that I can skip and not waste too much time. Okay, so once you determined the type of cone that you want to make as far as the diameter and the type of degree or slant that you want to put on the top, now go ahead and make half circles both on the bottom and the top. So we have 5 inches here. Half of 5 is 2.5, so that's our center. And we're going to get our compass. Lock it in place. Let's see if it matches on both sides, and they do. And go ahead and make your half circle. Okay, now in the same position, put your sharp point here, strike a mark right there, same thing here, and strike a mark right there. Okay, now we want to go ahead and do a couple more pies here on the left hand side and the right. So we want to find the center of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this ruler here. And find our center of our half circle and make a line like so. Okay. Now back to your compass in the same position that it took to make your half circle, as you can see. Okay, put your sharp point now here. Apologize, here. So put your sharp circle or sharp point of your compass right there. Strike a mark there and on the other side. And there it is. Now let's go ahead and make these lines off of these marks. Okay. Okay, now let's label these points with numbers. So this will be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the same thing that we did here up on top on our small diameter. So let's find the center of our 3-inch. Half of 3 is 1.5, so 1.5. So there's our center. Let's get our compass, our circle or half circle. Okay, in the same position, put sharp point here, strike an arc there, same thing on this side, strike an arc there, and then let's do some crisscross arcs on the top. So one like this, we'll do it here, crisscross the previous arc, and that'll help us find our center from From there to there. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's make some lines off of these arcs, but first, in the same position that you did your half circle, put your sharp point here now. Strike an arc there, swing it over, strike an arc there. Okay, now let's go ahead and make those lines. Okay, so the same thing as far as how we label these points. Let's go ahead and label these with letters instead. So this will be letter A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, next step. Notice on this cone you see some zigzag lines, so it goes from the top down, up, down, up, down, up, down, between every letter and number. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. So our starting points, and this will make sense down the video, our starting points are going to be letter A and number 1. So just know that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start doing some zigzag lines between the numbers and letters. So we already have A to 1, and I'm going to go ahead and put an arrow facing or pointing down, as you can see. A to 1. Now let's go ahead and make a line from 1 to B going up. So follow my lead. 1 to B, go down, B to 2, then go up, 2 to C, and then go down, C to 3, then 3 to D, up, then from D to 4, go down, then from 4 to E, go up, then from E to 5, go down, then from 5 to F, go up, then from F to 6, go down, and then from 6 to G, go up. As you can see, we got some zigzag lines, and that's going to help us triangulate this information onto our true length triangle or rectangle. Okay, so again, back to the arrows. So this is going down. Now we're going to go from 1 to B going up. Then we're going to go down again, B to 2, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then down. These arrows are going to help you, know your way as far as which letter to what number comes next, so that you can triangulate and put on your true length rectangle. Okay, so just one thing to take in mind. Know that from letter A to number 1 are going to be true length. The same applies to letter G to 7 are going to be true length. Every other number, or every number, or not number, but rather the zigzag lines in between these two are going to be triangulation points. So this will make sense, but I'm just going to go ahead and write this down. So we're going to say that A to 1 equals true length. So you don't have to triangulate that. The same thing applies from G to 7. So G to 7 equals true length. Okay? But everything else in between these zigzag lines, those are going to have to be triangulated and transferred onto our true length triangle. Okay, so let's now go ahead and set up our true length triangle or rectangle. And the way you do that is you need to figure out what your height and your length is. So let's first figure out what our height is going to be. So as far as the height goes, you're going to take the biggest diameter of your cone. So in this case, it's going to be the 5-inch. So it's 1 through 7. So on the numbers 1 through 7, you're going to take the number that has the longest line. So if you notice, 4 is longer compared to 5 and 6, or 2, 5, or 1 and 7. So 4 has a length of about 2.5 inches, so I'll go 3 inches just to give myself some room. So I'm going to give myself a 3-inch line, vertical line. Okay, and as far as your horizontal line for your true length rectangle, you're going to take the longest line of all these zigzag lines. So if you notice, the line from A to 1 is longer from G to 7. So you're going to take that longest line first instead. And that has a length of about 5.5 inches. So I'll give myself some wiggle room and make it at 6 inches. So I'll go ahead and make a horizontal line at 6 inches. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that going. So our horizontal line is 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we wanted to give it a 3-inch height. So 1, 2, 3. Oops. Okay. So yeah, I know it's normally called a true length rectangle, or I'm sorry, triangle, but it functions the same way. Okay, next step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make some horizontal lines that are going to represent these numbers here. So notice how 1 shares the same horizontal line as 7. You're going to mark this line right here as line 1 and 7. Okay, next one is going to be 2 and 6. So notice how 2 and 6 share the same length. Okay, so what you do, get your compass and get the distances of the number to this horizontal baseline right here. So notice that it's the same as 2. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your sharp point here on this corner, strike an arc on the top. Same thing here, strike an arc on the top. Join those two arcs. And you're going to call this line 2 and 6. Okay? Okay, now let's go ahead and do 3 and 5. So notice 3 and 5 are the same length from the number to this horizontal baseline. So do the same thing. Open it up to that baseline right there. Should be the same as 3. Okay, do the same thing on the top. Right there and right there. Join those lines. And you're going to call this line 3, and 5. Okay, and then the last one is 4. So 4 doesn't share any other number because it's the longest line from the number 4 to this baseline here. So get that distance, gonna lock it in place and do the same thing. Strike a mark right there, another mark right there, join those two, make a horizontal line, and you're gonna call this line 4. Okay, so now that we have that here, those going to be our elevation horizontal lines. Now we're going to go ahead and transfer the same thing on the letters, but just on this vertical line here. So this is pretty simple. So same thing, A and G share the same base. There's no height, the same baseline right here. So you're going to put A and G, which is going to be for that right there. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the same thing with B and F. B and F are the same. They share the same length from the letter to this baseline here. So you can just measure one or the other. They should be the same. Okay, strike a mark right there. And you're going to call this B and F. Okay, next one is going to be C and E. So C and E have share the same length on this baseline here. So there's E and C. Do the same thing here, strike a mark. You're going to call this C and E. Okay, and then the last one is D. So D is by itself, like that, and then do the same thing here on the top. You're going to call this dash D. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, so now that we have this kind of set up, now we're ready to transfer the triangulations from letters to numbers onto our true length rectangles. So let's go ahead and begin. So let's go ahead and start off. Like I said, we do not need to triangulate A1 and G7 because those are true lengths already. So let's go ahead and skip that. So we already did A to 1. Now let's go up. Notice this arrow is going up from 1. So let's triangulate 1 to B. 1 to B. I'm going to lock it in place. And put your sharp point on line number 1. So here's line number 1. Sharp point right here. Swing it over. And you're going to call this 1 to B. Okay? Okay, so we went up. Now let's go ahead down. Let's go down. So let's go B2. So let's get the distance between B and 2. And lock it in place. B and 2. So look for line number 2. Sharp point right here on this side. Swing it over. You're going to call this B2. Okay, B2. Now let's go up. Let's go to C. See, notice this arrow is going up to C. Like that, to C. Look for line number 2. Sharp point right here. Swing it over. And you're going to call this 2C. Okay, we went up. Now let's go ahead and go down. C3. Here's 3. Here's C. C3. Lock in place. So look for line number 3. Sharp point on that line. Swing it over. You're going to call this C3. Okay, next C3. Now we're going to go 3D. We're going to go up 3D. Going to lock it in place. Look for line number 3. Swing it over. And you're going to call this 3D. Okay, so 3D. Now we're going to go down D4. Here's 4. So D4. And lock it in place. Look for line number 4. Sharp point on this side. Strike an arc. You're going to call this D4. Okay, D4. Now we're going to go up 4 to E. Lock it in place, 4E. Look for line number 4. Sharp point here. Strike a mark. You're going to call this 4E. 4E. Then it goes to that one right there, 4E. So 4E. Now we're going to go down E to 5. E to 5. Gonna lock it in place. Look for line number 5. Here's line number 5. Swing it over. And we're gonna mark that as E5. So E5, and that goes to that right there. Okay, so E5. Now let's go up 5F. 5F. Lock it in place. Look for line number 5. Put it right here. Make a mark. You're going to call that 5F. 5F. And that goes to that. 5F. Okay. Now we're going to go down F to 6. F to 6. Lock it in place. Okay. Look for line number 6. Swing it over. And that is going to be called F6. So F6. Now let's go up 6 to G. Let's triangulate that. 6 to G. Gonna lock it in place. Okay. Look for line number 6. Put it right there. Swing it over. And you're gonna call this 6 to G. And that's going to be this one right there. Okay. And that's it. You don't need to do G7 because again, G7 is a true length. Okay. So now we're ready. We got the layout done. We got our true length rectangle all done and prepped with all the triangulations transferred from the layout. Now let's go ahead and do the pattern. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off by establishing our starting points. And that's going to be starting points A to 1. So we know that the distance from A to 1 has a length of about 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a random 5.5 inch line just so that we can get started. Okay, so this is going to be starting point A. Make a T right here. So what I like to do is start on the longest length. Instead of G to 7, you can, but I like doing it this way instead. So here's starting point A, okay? And now what you do is, again, A to 1 is true length, so just get your compass, get the distance between A to 1. I'm going to lock it in place like so. A to 1, sharp point on A, swing it down, strike an arc, and that is going to be point 1. Okay? Alright, now, so this is going to be pretty simple. So if you see the cone right here, that's point A, which is right here, and this is point 1, which is here. See that? All we're going to be doing is finding the distance between 1 and 2, like so, and then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and so on. And we're going to be doing the same thing, finding the spread or distances between every letter that we have here. So in this case, we'll get the distance from A to B, and then B to C, C to D, D to E, and then E to F, and so on. So just follow my lead. So we already got A to 1. Now we want to go ahead and find the distance from A to B. So first, go ahead and establish your distances between each number and letter. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with A to B, like so. It should be the same as every other part right here that you see here. So what you do is put it right here, strike an arc on the left and the right of your letter. So in this case A. So that's telling us that right around here is going to be B. Let's do the same thing with 1. Let's get the distance between 1 and 2. And that should be the same. Okay. So we'll do the same thing here. Strike an arc there, strike an arc there. So that's telling us that right around here is where 2 is going to land. Okay, so now let's go ahead and begin with our true length rectangle. So we're going to go A to 1. We already went A to 1 pointing down. Now let's go 1 to B. So where's 1 to B? 1 to B is right here. Sharp point on 1 to B. Open up your pencil point to dash B. We're going to lock it in place like so. Sharp point on 1. Strike an arc on the top, like that. And now you found B. See that? So I'll go ahead and make some lines, some zigzag lines, so that you can kind of get an idea of which direction we're going now. So we're going up. Okay. So notice we went up. Now we want to go down. B to 2. B to 2. So find B to 2 on your true length rectangle. So there's B to 2. And then open up your pencil point to dash B. And that's it, like that. Sharp point on B. Swing it down like so, strike an arc. Do the same thing here. And now you found 2. Pretty simple, right? And that's it. That's all you're doing. Rinse and repeat. So let's go back up, and let's go from 2 to C. So again, let's get our distances between, let's say, 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 should be like so. Okay. So we'll go ahead and strike an arc like that. The same thing on this side. Okay, and then let's get the distance between B and C. If you have 2 compasses, it'll be much faster because you can already have them preset. But because this is a beginner's type of video, I don't want to get ahead or skip or make it too quick or take shortcuts because it won't make sense. But the more you do this, it will it will become more obvious as to what you're supposed to do. Okay, so now let's go ahead and triangulate 2 to C. So where's 2 to C on our true length rectangle? 2 to C. Sharp point on 2 to C. Open up your pencil point to dash C on that vertical line. And lock it in place. Okay. 2 to C. 2 to C. Now you found C. Now let's go down C to 3. Where's C3? C3 is right here. And then open up your pencil point to dash C, which is right there. And lock it in place. C3, C3. See that? You're going C to 3. And now you found 3. So we went up and then down. Same thing on this side. We went up and then we went down. So we're down. Now we want to go 3 to D. 3 to D. So let's get the distance between C and D. Should be like so. C and D. Sharp point here. Strike an arc. Same thing on this side. Strike an arc. Now let's get the distance between 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Okay. Strike an arc like so. Do the same thing on this side. Okay, so now that we got the distance between letters and numbers, let's begin. Now let's go 3 to D. So we're going up. 3D. Where's 3D on our true length rectangle? 3D is right here. Open up your pencil point to dash D on that vertical line. Lock it in place. So we're going to go 3D, 3D. So now you found D. Let's go D4. Where's D4? D4 is right here. Swing it over to dash 4 on that vertical line. Or dash D rather. Okay, and then we want to start from D down to 4, D down to 4, and now you found 4. Okay, so we went up and then down. We went up and then down again. Alright, let's keep going. We're almost there. Let's get the distance between letters and numbers. So let's get the distance between 4 and 5. So 4 and 5 look like this. So strike an arc like that. Strike an arc like so. And let's get the distance between D and E. D and E. So that should be like this. Distance between D and E. Okay. Sharp point here. Sharp point here. Okay, now we're going to go 4 to E. 4 up to E. So where's 4 to E? 4E is right here. Sharp point on 4E, and then open up your pencil point to dash E on that horizontal line on the left side. Lock it in place. We're going to go 4E, 4E, E. So now you found E, and we can make a line if you want. Okay, now we're going to go down. E to 5. E to 5. So E to 5. Where's E to 5? E5 is right here. Sharp point on E5. Open up your pencil point to dash E on that vertical line on the left side. I'm going to lock it in place. So that's E5. So we're going to go E and then down to 5. E and then down to 5. So now you found 5. We're almost there. Boom. Boom. There's our favorite word. Okay, let's go and get the distances between 5 and 6, and then E to F. So the distance between E and F look like so. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. E to F. Sharp point here, strike an arc. Sharp point on E, strike an arc. Okay, let's get the distance between 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 look like this. So there's 5 and 6. Strike an arc there. Do the same thing on this side. Strike an arc. Okay, now let's go ahead and transfer that information from our true length triangle. So we're at 5. Now we want to go up 5 to F. So here's 5 to F. Where's 5 to F? 5 to F is right here. 5, and then open up your pencil point to dash F on that vertical line. We're going to lock it in place, and we're going to go 5 to F, 5 to F. We went up. Now let's do F to 6. So where's F6? F6 is right here. Sharp point on F6, and then put your pencil point on dash F on that vertical line. Okay, lock it in place. And now we're going to go F6, F6. And I apologize, I should have written this down. This is F, and then this is 6. So yeah, hopefully you guys kind of already see the pattern. It's kind of tedious. I know it's tedious, but this is just one of the ways I know it's kind of guaranteed to get an exact dimension to get that truncated cone. There are other ways, and I'll show you guys. But this is just one of the ways. Okay, so we're almost there. So now let's go get the distance between 6 and 7 and F and G. So 6, 7. The distance between 6 and 7 look like this. So it's already preset. So 6, 7. So 6 to 7. 6 to 7. And then the distance between F and G. So let's get that. F and G. It's going to be right around there. So hopefully you guys can see that. F and G. Okay. F to G to G. F to G. Okay, there you go. Let's triangulate. So we went F6, so we're F6 going down. Now let's go up 6 to G. So where's 6 to G? 6G is right here. So 6G and then open up your pencil point to letter G right there. We're gonna lock it in place, and we're gonna go 6 to G, 6 to G. So this is G. You found G, G, and then let's go ahead and make a line. So we went up. Okay, and then the last one is G to 7. Now remember, G7 is true length, so you don't need to triangulate that. So just take your compass and put it and get the distance between 7 and G, and that's going to be a true length, like that. G7. Hopefully you guys can see that. Put sharp point on G, swing it down, and now you found 7. So this is 7. And that is 7. Okay, so that is it. And if everything was done correctly, this should match this. So let's see. And that's pretty close. Pretty close. What do you guys think? Pretty easy, right? Okay, and that, just to demonstrate, should wrap around this cone here. So it starts from here, then goes around like so, and there it is. So that is how you do your truncated cone with a angled top. Alright, and that is pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys got value out of it. And if you know of a friend or a co-worker that can get value out of it and put it to use, go ahead and definitely share it with them. And let's get more people to start learning how to do these. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Plenty more to come. Peace.